What's up, guys? Just wanted to do a quick video of this Tudor Black Bay Pro that I just picked up on bracelet. I was lucky enough to get one. But I just wanted to take a minute to point out a couple of things that nobody else has really been talking about with this one. And additionally, just kind of want to compare it to an old Tudor sub that I have, a 79 190. But this watch, as everybody else was concerned about the thickness, I was as well. And I'll just kind of cut to the chase on that. It's not an issue for me. I have like a 6.5 inch wrist. I actually like the thickness on this. It feels more like an old sea dweller. It works really well. It's completely balanced 100%. There's nothing about the thickness that really bothers me. I don't know if you can see it on video there, but the thickness is just part of the way the watch feels. And it's not an issue at all to me. I mean, it's a thicker watch, but it doesn't feel like an IWC on the wrist. It doesn't feel like a Panerai on the wrist. I mean, it feels like a sports watch on the wrist. And it's really well balanced. And the thickness has not been an issue to me. A couple of things that I've noticed with this watch are the end links have been changed very similarly to the way Rolex does it. These end links right here, while it is a female end link, it doesn't fully articulate downwards. So it kind of stops right here. So you can kind of see these end links don't fully articulate, which at first I didn't like at all. However, as I'm wearing it more and more, I kind of like it because it operates like a Rolex. In that it just wraps your wrist, very well. Secondly, the glide lock, I've noticed that it kind of wants to slip out of place if you open the clasp. I usually open modern Tudor clasps like this. I kind of push down and pull up. But when you do that with this one, the glide lock wants to slide all the way back. So the way that I've been doing it is I've just been opening the clasp from underneath and popping that loose, so that I don't reset my glide lock every time. Compared to the sub here, one thing I've noticed with the Pro is that they kind of have tried to replicate this Submariner's loom in this Pro, and they've done a really good job at doing that, I think. I kind of like this loom. It's not completely yellow like an old Rolex, 5513 or, earlier. This does a really good job with the loom. I love this. I love this watch. I think I'm going to keep it. It feels really substantial on the wrist. It kind of gives me the feel of like a Panerai or a sea dweller for someone with a 6.5 inch wrist like myself. I can never rock a sea dweller or a James Cameron, because they're just too big on my wrist. But this kind of gives you that weight and that mass and that heft of a really nice tool watch. So I think I'm going to keep it. I was worried about the thickness as everybody else. But again, with this clasp, getting a perfect fit, this watch is really comfortable, and it really feels good on the wrist. And I like a little heft on the wrist personally. It feels really good. One thing I don't like about this older Tudor sub is that, you know, you can look at that thinness. Look how thin that case is. You know, it's kind of like an old Rolex GMT or something. And in comparison to the thickness of the Pro, it's pretty considerable. However, this thing with the hollow center link bracelet, I mean, it's almost like you're not even wearing a watch. I mean, which is good, you know. Sometimes, other times you want to feel like you're wearing a watch. You know, so this is a very comfortable watch as well. However, it just doesn't do what this does on the day-to-day. This one is kind of becoming a bit of a collector's piece, so you can't really beat it up like you can beat this one up. But yeah, I would say if you're looking at this piece, I wouldn't be put off by the thickness as much. Just know that this is not going to be a dress watch. This is going to be an everyday watch, a summer watch, something to beat up and kind of throw around. You know, aside from that, I think this watch is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I like it better than the modern Rolex Explorer 2s. I like the bezel better than the modern Rolex Explorer 2s. Additionally, the way the lume presents and the way they did the anti-reflective inner coating on this crystal, it's just an absolutely gorgeous watch, and I love wearing it so far. You never know if that's going to last or if that's going to change, but you know, with the glide lock on this, I mean, I would say this watch is 100% on par with what Rolex is doing. You know, it's almost like Rolex said, hey, we know our Explorer 2s are massive 42 millimeter, you know, watches, so we're going to make one at a more reasonable size that, you know, can kind of actually be used. I think the new version of the Explorer 2s, the white dials at least, I think they're going for like 18 or 20 grand, which is just absolutely absurd for a tool watch. And the old 16570s, I think, are going from anywhere between 8.5 to 10 grand. And you can get this thing for 4 grand, straight from the AD. And just to touch on that a little bit, I have a relationship with my AD. I've bought several watches, and you know, I hit him up immediately when this came out, and I was lucky enough to get one. These are going to be available, guys, so I mean, just wait. Don't be afraid to go into an AD and just shoot the shit with them a couple of times a week and say, hey, I really want this watch. You might have to buy one on a band and then order the bracelet separately, or you can always buy something from them. If it's from your girlfriend, for your girlfriend or your wife or whatever, buy something and say, hey, I also want this watch. Or buy something and then go sell it, maybe lose a little bit of money, just to get that relationship with the AD. But these are not hard watches to get, guys, so don't be going and spending, you know, 6 grand on this watch or whatever it is. You can just go in and have a chat with your AD and they should be able to get you one. So anyways, thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good one.